Hi guys, it's Spencer again.
To start off with the Philos plate. The first thing I want to say is I know we're all very familiar with the small fragment system here. Just think of this as a small fragment plate.
It's really easy to use, very comprehensive.
It's got a fancy name, but it's a small fragment plate. And what I mean by that is obviously you've got our small fragment system, and then you've also got another tray with specific Philos instrumentation, which we'll go into. But this essentially just accepts 3.5 locking screws and 3.5 cortical screws.
It's all 3.5 screws, so 2.5 drill bit for the 3.5 non-locking cortex screws and the 2.8 drill bit for the 3.5 locking screws.
So, with this plate, you have a guide which is on the Philos set, and this guide, there's a little screw in the middle of the guide, and then on the plate in the head there's a small screw hole. Can you see that? In to the head of the plate, and then using your screwdriver for 3.5 cortical screws, 2.5 hex, you can then thread this in. Make sure that the locking screws are going aligned with the locking holes and where we want them to go and where they were manufactured to go, because it's such a complex area that we want to make sure that the locking strong is as strong as it possibly can be. Now on the Philos instrument set, you have these guides, okay? And these are a little bit different to the standard locking guide on a small fragment, if you can see. Okay, these ones, which has the threads that will thread into the plate, like so. Like that. And then you have your drill sleeve, which, because it's locking, it's 2.8, and it actually says 2.8 on there. So always look at the instruments because they do talk to you. And then you've got your K-wire sleeve, which is 1.6. So that's the wire you can use.
Sometimes the surgeons prefer to use a longer drill bit. We use a drill bit with calibrated measuring device inside the Philos tray. It works with the drill bit with a stopper. If they use that, sometimes it doesn't get to the length that they want, and sometimes they want to cover the whole length of the head.
Done the initial reduction, and now then fire some 1.6 wires into the head of the humerus. Okay? And it goes on laterally, like that. They're one-sided, and by that I mean there's no left or right versions. So if they do a left, you'd use the same 5-hole as you would a 5-hole on the right. Technically, you're going to show this to Mr. Dance, aren't you? There's technically no such thing as Philos 2. That plate is our periarticular proximal humerus plate, and this goes a bit more posterior. However, I've lost the battle, and now everyone calls it Philos 2 here, so I just call it Philos 2 as well, because it's just easy.
It's easier to identify which one is the one and the two.
If I come into cover and you say we're doing Philos 2, you will just get a really weird blank look from my face. Because sort of like, what?
Barnet.
Philos 2 exists, but nowhere else.
I'm glad I wasn't leaning on this
Hole, so it's the first hole within the shaft. You see that? It's like a long, it's longer than the others. We'd put a 3.5 cortical screw in that, golden drill bit, I like to say. And then you've got your guide with a spring. I know on your small fragment sets, SSD will sometimes send it back with a spring.
Sometimes, all the time.
All the time. And I promise you, I have given them the spring. They know how to put it back on.
Really?
But
oh really?
But
we never get the spring.
Give it to us directly, we'll put it in.
Yeah, so what we're doing at North Middlesex is they just put them in a bag and they just do it themselves now. So we'll do this.
Yeah.
I actually have got springs here.
Please give us here.
But anyway, so yeah, you put your 3.5 cortical screw in, you drill, 3.5, so you've got your depth gauge. Yours looks a little bit different than small fragments, like this large silver one.
Oh yeah, there's a different one inside the set.
Exactly. And then you have your
The one with
3.5
the
hex, and then thread that down, press the plates alone, and then if they're happy with the plate placement, they'll then start locking screws in the head. So with your sleeves, take out the K-wire sleeve, 2.8 drill bit, fire it down, you can then measure.
You know what? Sometimes they don't like the drill bit that comes in
They
the.
don't like reading off it.
No, I mean,
The one with the stopper.
yeah, the stopper
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes well because they want to drill up to the end of the bone. You
Yeah.
know?
I got you,
Yeah. So they
you
use
can-
like a
You
long.
can just give them a longer 2.8 drill bit from
But is there a point to that?
Down to where they want to drill up. They don't want to drill into the articulated
The
surface. But yeah, you just give. If they want a longer drill, just give them a longer drill.
Okay.
I know the one you're on about the stop.
Yeah, the one in the tray itself,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's got a stopper and it's meant to work with that drill
Exactly.
sleeve.
That's how to read it off as well. But yeah, if they want to go longer, just give them a longer drill bit. And with this, then once you've measured, you can then insert your screw. Sometimes they like to put it on a power.
Yeah.
So we always in our small fragment sets have just
Extra.
your individual
Yeah.
screwdriver shaft, put that on a power, and then they'll want to tighten the rest by hand. With the locking screws, it's a T15. They'll then put it on a 1.5 torque, and then they'll tighten the rest by hand until it clicks. And then when you go to the shaft, once you're happy with all the locking screws in the head, you can then use these towers, your standard locking towers, so the ones that you use for a 3.5 LCP plate. Put it into the threaded portion, and then 2.8 drill bit, measure, and then same screwdriver. The other thing to mention, as some of you might know, is you can also augment, and what I mean by that is we have locking screws that are perforated, so they have holes at the end, they're hollow inside.
Oh, the one with cement.
You could inject cement.
I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I'm a ninja without a name. Don't fall in love.